Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Pops with the Adams Family Gaming. Looks like Enshrouded dropped a huge content update yesterday. Sorry I'm a day late, but it's huge. So we're just gonna dive straight into it. For the highlights, I'm not really gonna go into much detail on them because they have an amazing trailer video that I'll have linked in the description below if y'all want to go check that out. And I do suggest going and checking that out as it's amazing. So they added each biome has a new playable area called the Hollow Halls with enemies and challenges corresponding with the level of the biome. That's like going to be their little instance dungeons. New quests leading through the new content. Talk to the alchemist to get started. New enemies await you in the depths. A new survivor can be discovered in the Hollow Halls, which I'm super excited to get that right there. Unlock a new crafting station with new recipes. New weapon, building blocks, furniture, decorative props, and more can be found. The 60 Hz, which is your frames per second issue, have been solved, providing a smooth experience on higher frame rates. Emily the farmer now offers potted plants to everyone who wants that little extra bit of color to the porch. Make sure that the base has access to kindling to craft the pots. Kiln? I don't know what that word is. Kate the carpenter now offers a new set of round doors and windows. That's going to allow you to be able to build more like the hobbits do in the Shire, which I think our characters are more hobbit sized than anything if you actually look at the character scale. The seedbed workstation now allows growing additional trees, seedlings. Many trees receive new growing stages. Player characters can now sit on furniture such as chairs, benches, thrones, and toilets. If y'all remember in the last Enshrouded news update I did for the roadmap, I said I was going to make me a throne room. So now I'm actually going to be able to make a throne room and actually sit on it. So that will be a video all on its own whenever I get to that point. We just started over again. I know I said that like twice now, but I am actively playing now. That's the footage that you're going to be seeing in the background while I go over the patch notes. The town Willow Crush in the Reveal Woods has been completely reworked and some other areas have been improved. Okay, so getting into what they didn't cover in the trailer. Some quality of life improvements. Improved support for stack splitting in the backpack and chest. The size of the split stacks can now be selected freely. Content of magical chests can now be used in crafting stations. I'm looking forward to that. I do know it used to only be for the NPCs that you unlock to bring into your base to do your crafting stuff for you. But now this is going to be actually done in crafting stations, so that's pretty freaking huge there. The loot menu has been reworked to allow faster and more convenient collection of loot. If y'all remember, I didn't really have an issue with the way that the loot was working, is what I said in the last video. But after playing last night for a little while, it's night and day. It's so much better. It kind of reminds me of how Warzone's loot system is. It just kind of shows up on the bottom of the screen, and it's freaking amazing. Items can now be crafted in stacks, which is only 10 at a time. So it's either 10 or singles. Sending items to other players now have more convenient menu. There is now a warning message if the backpack of the receiver is already full. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know that you could send items to other players. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if it goes to them directly. Y'all let me know if it's you get to send it to them directly or if you get to send it to a certain kind of chest. Because like I said, I had no idea that was a thing. A new ping function on the world map allows pointing other players in a multiplayer session to a specific area. So that's freaking huge. They also cover that in the highlight video that they did. Servers can now be searched for and favorited via IP in the server browser, which that's huge because, you know, everybody on here plays on Steam for Enshrouded. I know I was trying to join my uncle's server and he sent me the name and then sent me the IP address, and we were having hell trying to join each other's stuff. And so, yeah, that's huge that you'll be able to do that. The keys and buttons for jumping, gliding can be mapped individually. By default, the gliding is still mapped to the same key, which is spacebar or B or O on controller. So you'll be able to actually change it. For example, control on keyboard. Okay, yeah. So it's saying that instead of doing space if you have the double jump to get your glider out, you'll be able to just hit space control. And then again on controller for Xbox controller, you'll be using jump B or jump B if you don't have the double jump, which I don't know why you wouldn't have the double jump. And then circle or O on controller. Technical improvements and stability, updating the game's game on Steam has been reworked to allow faster updates in the future. That's freaking awesome, you know, because I think they went almost, what, 4 or 5 weeks without a major update, which, I mean, hey, I mean, with this much content, I believe it's worth it. So it's saying that the updates were taking 30 gigabytes per update. Now it's going to only be the complete re-download one time only save. So it's basically just going to give, like, if it's a 6 gigabyte update, it's only going to take 6 gigabytes instead of the full 30 gigabytes. Or if it's 2 gigabytes, it'll only take 2 gigabytes instead of reinstalling and patching the entirety of the game. Save data stability has been improved further as additional security layer for the game now automatically creates backups of save data in periodic intervals. Should a save file become unreadable for any reason, a previous version will be loaded. That's freaking huge. That way you don't have to go into your game files and your PC and your background and all that stuff to reload your previous save. It just does it automatically. That's huge. That's good. Rendering and performance. Performance has been improved further as always. Performance and stability will remain a main focus while moving forward. Support for NVIDIA Reflex has been added, which I played around with that last night, and it kind of messed up my game. I had to go in and change a bunch of graphical settings. It can be switched on and off in the graphical settings, and the used hardware supports the feature. If the used hardware supports the feature. I read that wrong. Added a new setting to the graphical settings to control the sharpness of the image. That's one of the things that I had to fix was the sharpness. Added a new setting to switch contact shadows on and off. Added a new option to switch off optional micro spiders. I get some people are terrified of spiders, but that just gives it more like a eerie feel to me. I mean, that's cool that they did that. I don't know. I find that weird to me, but I mean, I understand it. My wife is Mrs. Adams is super scared of spiders. So added an option. Oh yeah, I did that. Gameplay. Added more shields into the progression. That's cool because, like, I heard that shields were very limited. The multi-shot skill no longer is triggered by special arrows, stun, explosive, and poison. Okay, so you can't do triple shot or whatever, how many shots it is for a stun explosion. That's good. I think that's a good balancing update. Updated the functionality of the leech stat. Example, on the Ring of Endless Life, it now has a chance to convert a percentage of the damage dealt to enemies into health for the player. So that's just life steal, basically. The player skill Bloodletting is no longer triggered by Light Burst and Acid Cone. So these are all going to be just kind of like, looks like minor, major. Some might be major. I haven't made it that far enough into the game. I'm going to read through this, and I'm just going to kind of highlight the ones that I think is going to be like game fixing or game changing. So this one right here is pretty big. Healing another player with water aura no longer backfires as damage when that player has a counter strike. Warden and Tower Aura no longer trigger while the player is down. Small tweaks to durability of the various weapon types. Melee weapons lose durability slightly slower. Wands slightly faster. Improved durability for rare items. That's huge. Fix an issue where the action bar and ammunition selection could skip slots on higher frame rates. That's pretty. That could definitely cause some deaths and unwanted uh-ohs. Fix an issue with the sickle sight that sometimes got stuck in a wall after teleporting. I can definitely see that being a freaking headache, so I'm glad that that's fixed. Enemies now better find their ways through door frames and similar spaces. That's a balancing thing. Enemies and wildlife now use higher resolution grid for pathfinding. Improved steering behavior for enemies and wildlife. Improved player camera behavior so it behaves less erratic when interacting with enemies. Improved enemy jump behavior. You thought you were safe? Think again. That's awesome because I was seeing a bunch of people being able to just kind of get slightly above the enemies and just hit them with a bow or your wand or whatever and make the game overly simplistic. Enemies can now block wand projectiles. That's huge. Wand projectiles no longer use auto target bear traps. Okay, I can see why that would be a freaking headache. Using wand to destroy props is easier now. Before, the homing feature on wand projectiles didn't work correctly on enemy objects, so they fixed headshots. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's freaking huge. So apparently people were falling, and then instead of accepting their death, they would just fast travel to wherever they got to go. I mean, that's huge. I like that. I did encounter this on my first time that I started playing through. They fixed the several issues where the glider would be triggered unintentionally when trying to jump. I had a couple of times where I was like, what are you gliding for, dude? Like, I don't want to glide right now. Fix a glitch where the player could gain altitude by entering and canceling the glider, not a seagull. Fix a stamina issue with the hawk boots. The game now shows correct numbers when the player gains mana or stamina. Being affected by damage over time doesn't cancel the grappling hook, climbing walls, and the glider anymore. Discrete hits still do. This will come in handy for dungeons, just saying. Oh, okay. So that's something that we're really going to have to pay attention to. Let's read that one more time. Being affected by damage over time doesn't cancel the grappling hook, climbing walls, and the glider anymore. Discrete hits still do. Discrete hits. So I'm guessing like backstab maybe. This will come in handy for dungeons, just saying. So maybe there's an enemy trying to climb away or something. I don't know. I'll have to get to those dungeons and figure that out. Fix several clipping issues for armor pieces. Salvaging high rarity items and chests now works correctly. Cool. All right, so we're moving on to game world. Ground fog is no longer appearing in the player base, and the area is protected by the flame. Fix many minor issues with floating objects or other similar visual glitches of points of interest. Fix the incorrect appearance in recipes for the desert flower. New music playlist for Pikes Meads Ranch. New music playlist, new music for Shroud areas. Several issues with ambient sounds have been fixed. Fix an issue with the doors and spires when teleporting away and returning while halfway through the progress. Flames and shrines now have small ambient flame to indicate the flame will regrow over time when the spark has been collected. Fix a quest marker near the southern caravan area that remained as a question mark even after exploring the area. Crafting, building, and terraforming. So this is going to be straight up world building stuff here. The visualization of the borders of the player base works now better with what? The visualization of the borders of the player base works now better with combined areas of several flame altars and in cases where no build areas are intersecting into the base. Y'all, please tell me I'm not the only one reading that weirdly, but I understand what they're saying. They're saying that it's not going to clip in together where you're not able to build. So that, yeah, I can see that definitely causing an issue. Fix an issue that terrain voxel would sometimes become transparent when building too close to the upper limit of the playable area. Updated some fireplaces that didn't offer the option for cooking or didn't give the warmth for the resting buff. Fix another instance of incorrectly saved growth state of plants such as bushberries, berry bushes. Bushberries was an art, my bad. Berry bushes in the base. Added a quest for the spinning wheel to increase the visibility of the workstation. It is now possible to craft flower soil with Emily. Flower soil lets flowers grow faster than regular soil. Hopefully it's a little bit more rare to get as well. Improved alignment of several double doors to better fit the voxel grid. Fixed a rare issue where buildings shapes could be placed in a way that made it impossible to dismantle them as a whole. I actually almost experienced this last night. I was trying to get rid of a door. I ended up getting rid of the door frame. But the door was there, and then I put another door frame down, and I still couldn't get the door to go away. It took some manipulating and some digging and replacing, and to be able to pull it, like to make it go away. But I ended up getting it fixed. So hopefully this is going to be improved on more in the future, because I can definitely see that as being super frustrating, especially if you're reworking your base build or whatever. You're not able to get rid of some of the stuff that you don't want to have anymore. They fixed an issue where it was possible to build in margins of certain no build and no save zones. Hardwood is now used in additional recipes. Fixed an issue where objects could be dismantled inadvertently through the walls while at the same time interfering with seedling placement. Gardening shouldn't be a home wrecker. Oh, mercy. Allow undo function while building hammer is selected but building menu is closed. Fixed a few instances where no build zones on beds were misaligned. Fixed an issue where terraforming sound effects were missing in certain situations. Yeah, I can definitely see that being super weird. You know, you're digging a hole or whatever, or chopping down trees, or you're digging through the ground, and there's just silence. That'd be scary. User interface and localization. The character detail screen has been updated and many stats have been improved or renamed to add more clarity about gameplay effects. Okay, so that's going to give you more like character stats and like what they do, and be able to make changes and skills and whatever, and buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. Reduce the visual clutter of enemy and player health bars. Player health bars only show up when players receive damage. Damage numbers are only shown per player. Enemy stun bar is hidden when the value is 0. For critter type enemies, the health bar is hidden unless they receive damage. Damage numbers on enemies are now shown closer to the health bar. Mana gain is now shown on values similar to health. Stamina gain is always displayed, even if the stamina is consumed right away. For example, by sprinting. Fix several typos of text inconsistencies brought up by the community. Thank you very much for bringing these to our attention. The current server load is now correctly showing when player alone on a dedicated server. Tweak the custom map marker menu. Fixed an issue with the location icons vanishing on the world map. Previously affected save games will get fixed after saving and reloading once. Fixed cases where drop-down menus would exit the screen if open too close to the screen border. Improved wording of several error messages. Disable the please update graphics card driver message for older AMD graphics card. Restored the charging progress indicator for staff spells. Fixed an issue for very long passwords and multiplayer sessions, and then fix several items that did not lose the new marker after selecting them. That should be about it. We hope you enjoy this first update. Let us know what you think about it below. So that's huge. That is so much content in this freaking first content update. There's so many fixes. There's so much stuff added. I'm super excited to get to the point where I can start doing the what were they called? The hollow halls. That sounds amazing. I mean, and then you're also getting like the new weapons and building blocks, and like this is a huge first major game update. This is unheard of, and I think this kind of sets the bar for the future of the gaming industry, and especially this being just a small indie company making huge leaps like this. This is awesome. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. I will be streaming Enshrouded some point in time this weekend, so make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button so that way you can find out when we go live. Me and him are both off of work and school Friday. We got a couple of things to do, so we might do it Friday. But we can't stream very late because we got family game night, which I think this week is either going to be, we just got a game in. I don't remember what game it was, but I'll let you know in the next video. But yeah, we'll see y'all then. Thank y'all.